I'll be honest. When I first saw Lucha Underground, I was living in Austin at the time. Season 1, and I don't own a television. I still don't, and so I was watching it on my friend's television. I was really impressed with just how different it was. Just I don't know. You can't really categorize it. You can't really say, oh, it's a wrestling show, and you can't really say, oh, it's a drama. You can't really say, oh, it's this and that. I mean, what you can say is it's episodic. What you can say is that it's thrilling. What you can say is that it's engaging. What you can say is that it's intriguing. It's obviously unique. It's a completely different rainbow, full of completely different colors that have yet to be seen. And so all those aspects were completely intriguing to me. I think I really enjoyed, and I do enjoy, the emphasis that they put on each individual. The example I use is, you look back at the old late-style Royal Rumbles, and there are 30 guys, and it was spread out over, an hour or two. Anyway, so each time a guy would come out back in the day, oh, God, I forgot about this guy. Damn it, this guy could actually take it. This guy's like that. You legitimately would think that for each 30, all 30 guys that would come out. And sadly, wrestling's really changed that whole landscape, emphasis on talent. And so what you have is, you'll watch a show on Monday night, or you'll watch a show on, I don't know, whatever other nights they come up on, and you'll say, okay, well, I know this guy's definitely going to lose because he always loses. Or I know that this guy's just being used for fodder because that's how they're always shown. Or I know this, it's definitely going to be one of these 5 guys that wins. That's the story that we're always told. You know what I mean? So you can see how it would be extremely, extremely desensitizing to invest in something that basically just gives you the same old burger every time you take a bite. Now, if you look at Lucha Underground, you're not in a McDonald's. You're not in a Wendy's. You're not in a Taco Bell. You're in a complete mom and pop shop. You're in one of the most genuine restaurants imaginable, where every meal is made with love. Every meal is thought out. Every meal is designed and structured by pretty much a world-class chef. And you can taste it with each bite. Every single bite has flavor to it. Every single character has flavor to him or her. Every single person is a threat. Any person can beat any person on any given day or any given show, and you'll believe it. That's what stood out to me the most about that program. And that's what really intrigued me the most because, let's be honest, I'm a little long in the tooth, for a wrestler, and being dumped on my head just for the sake of being dumped on my head is just not very appealing. So, to be able to flex other muscles that I wasn't allowed to flex elsewhere is extremely, it's satisfying, but it's extremely, trying to think of the right word, it's cathartic, and it really is.
No, that's...
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, no, that's really great to compare it to that, as to, the difference in the presentation and all that stuff. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I think the presentation is the big thing. And when we think of somebody like you, we think of somebody who really, at a time where there was a kind of, maybe a generic mold in professional wrestling, you were somebody who really stood out because, there were some creative ideas, there were some differences to the look that you and a couple other people embodied. But I think with Lucha Underground, I think that they really like to stress that there are a lot of differences out there with professional wrestling, or some people call it sports entertainment, but their look, their presentation, the temple, the whole aspect of Lucha Underground helps you as a performer kind of maybe a few years into your career makes you help branch out into other things and maybe borrow a little bit from your old self and maybe help you reinvent yourself as well.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in the old self. And to finish up on that question before, my initial thoughts when I started speaking with them was it was a bit intimidating, to be honest with you, because as a performer you want to add to something, you don't want to take away from it. And I was pretty burnt out on wrestling for a long time. In some ways I still am, but just on how boring it was, and not Lucha Underground specifically, but just wrestling in general. It was just, it's like looking at the same flip book over and over again, No matter how slow or how fast you flip it, it's the same images. So when I started speaking with them and started talking and, having a mutual flirtation, I emphasized this. I'm not into head dropping. I don't want to do anything that I've already done. I don't want to look how I've looked before. I don't want to do anything that people will recognize. And I said, well, what do you think about your name? I said, well, it's my real name. Might as well use it. And they agreed. Not really into wearing masks, unless, there's a female involved. Anyways, I emphasized that I'm not really interested in being a toy, and they completely agreed, which was music to my ears. And but initially, I was fairly intimidated, to be honest with you, because as I mentioned, this is my 16th year doing this, and it's not so much a fireworks display to me anymore as it is just a grand opportunity to tell a story around a bonfire, and that's an atmosphere that you can't really translate through the television, but yet these guys are able to pull that off. So to be a part of that is something that's, as a performer, very enriching and refreshing. And so believe it or not, I actually came on board at the beginning of season 2. And there was some initial thought and discussion, initial thought, to come in as a performer in ring. And, I've since become very selective with dates and with accepting bookings. And as I mentioned, I'm just like, I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of in one end of what I've already done. But what else can I do? What else can I show? What other, muscles can I flex? And these are all things that were, mutual thoughts. And it's like, why would I want to come to Lucha Underground and present, something that's left over? Leftovers are good for a day or two, but then they go bad real fast. And so I just wasn't interested in kind of being me, if that makes sense, from the perspective of what everyone's familiar with. But I think through the help of social media, Twitter and Instagram and things of that nature, you have a responsibility. At least you can look at it that way, and so you can kind of sprinkle out these little seeds of ideas or little slivers of your personality without giving out too much. And so people can get an idea of how I click. They can get an idea of what makes me tick. But the key is to never really let them have everything. You always want to keep people guessing. And so the beauty of working with a company like Lucha Underground is that there's an unlimited, I guess I should say that the curtain being pulled back is limitless. It's like a hallway of curtains, and you're curious which curtain reveals, what's behind each one, And so it has a lot of funhouse elements to it, and I love funhouses. I actually love the movie Funhouse from the 80s. I think it's fantastic. But I love that element of surprise. I think that's what really brought us all into wrestling in the first place, was the element of surprise, that element of what's engaging. it's like any performer. You want to be captivated. You don't want to be insulted. You don't want to be turned off. You don't want to. You don't want to be made to feel dumb watching grown men wearing spandex or masks or capes or whatever. You don't want to feel stupid watching this stuff. And admittedly, I would watch wrestling and I would feel extremely stupid, And it was frustrating from some of the places I've been before because I very specifically remember having a very, I guess it was a well-received ladder match with other teams back in the former life that I wrestled in. And, this ladder match got all this praise and all this stuff, and it was brutal, and this kid almost lost his eye, and blah, 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 blah. So afterwards, we had this follow-up segment, and I really wanted to get into the mentality of the toll that a match like that would take on you. And the more I started to kind of improvise my own promo, the more I got cut down, and shut down, and dumbed down. It was insulting, and it was poisonous. And I kind of wrote my own exit right there, to be honest with you. Because I thought, well, what am I doing if I'm just this really poor conduit to this empire that claims responsibility, that claims pushing the envelope, but it works with a sealed envelope the whole time through, and nothing gets in and nothing gets out. So, and if I'm talking weird or out of line, I hope that you just let me know and I'll try and clarify it. But it's frustrating as a performer when your hands are tied. It's frustrating as a performer when you're wearing shackles around your ankles. I like to live by the thought of the only limits I have are they're limitless. And, it's like Bruce Lee says, you're using no way as way. And I love open interpretation. I love collaboration. These are things that create growth and expansion. So to know that I was on board with like minds and people that thought very similar to that, again, it was refreshing. But at the same time, there was that element of intimidation. It's like, well, shit, what can I bring to the table? Because I've just never been allowed to flex other muscles before, So we discussed and we met and we crossed notes and we crossed ideas and, it was a fun, flirtatious courting. And, I guess I'm rambling at this point. You guys probably have all these lists of questions.